So I recently had what I'm going to call the perfect depersonalization, realization, and anxiety client. And what I mean by that is he was the best client that I've ever worked with in my entire career of doing this for 7 years in terms of how the coaching and mentorship process went. Number one, he was extremely, extremely kind. He was extremely grateful to get to go through this process. He showed up to every single meeting that he needed to show up to. He asked only questions about how to apply the 5 foundations of safety, which is what I teach people. That's what we need to do to get to the root of these symptoms is we need to do things that communicate safety to the body and nervous system. And he showed up, asked questions that were focused on getting to the root, and then he'd go out and execute. And then he'd show up the next week and he'd be like, yeah, I'm actually, feeling a little bit better. But I've got a question about this thing or that thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, we need to adjust this. And yeah, you got this. And there's nothing but hope for you. And he'd be like, okay, that sounds good. And the meetings were actually pretty short with him. He really didn't need a whole lot of coaching. He was very, very self sufficient and very good at executing. And then I just started to hear from him less and less and less. And it actually has been probably about a month or two since I've heard from him. And I was actually just talking with my assistant about this because whenever they initially signed up, there was originally a question of if they were going to be able to speak English well enough to work with us because they are from a country where English isn't their first language. And I was like, well, let's go ahead and have me talk to him. And I was able to talk to him, and I was like, oh, yeah, I can understand you. By the way, in my RISE program, we have people from countries all over the world. We definitely work with a lot of people from the United States, but we have so many countries represented. And it's so funny. People are so worried if English isn't their first language that nobody's going to understand them. And they're like, oh, my English isn't so good. And I'm like, you sound great. Now, of course, there are some people every now and then where there's just such a deep language barrier that we can't work with them just because I have to be able to understand you. But anyway, it was so interesting because, initially I almost didn't end up working with them because my assistant was worried that I wouldn't be able to understand them. But, because I talk with people that English isn't their first language all the time, it definitely was a little hard, but I understood him very easily, actually. And so anyway, just the thought of maybe having lost out an opportunity to work with this individual is very sad to think about. But I'm so glad that we ended up working with him, and he is now fully recovered, and he's been recovered for a month now. And I just wanted to share that because this is what happens whenever people execute. They see results. And I want to read to you what he actually just wrote. He posted in our Rise group. He said, hey guys, I'm 100% symptom free for more than a month now. And all I can say is life is good and beautiful. No matter how bad that you feel now, I promise you it gets better. I don't want to talk about how unbearable it was for me, but I swore I had the worst of DPDR and anxiety one can ever imagine. I almost fully lost interest in life, but the only thing that kept me going was Jordan and my lovely family, even though they looked robotic for a while. Don't give up, guys. Please don't give up. You don't have to be perfect to recover, but just try and put in the work, and I promise you'll recover in no time. You got this, guys. So there you go. And I always tell people, some of my favorite clients are business owners, uh, current military or former military, have a very high success rate of getting through the symptoms fairly quickly. In fact, I've got a guy actually right now, which for privacy's sake, I wish I could say it. It's so cool actually what he does in the military. But anyway, he's at a very high level branch of the military, and he is seeing amazing results. And he's an executor, and he shows up to every single meeting, and he's just like, hey, here's what's going on. How do I apply this? How do I apply that? And, I want to be clear, not everybody is like these people that I'm referring to, right? But people that do have a history of consistent execution of something for whatever reason, doesn't always have to be a business owner or military, it could be a lot of different reasons, but they just have a history of being consistent. Well, for them, they just need to be consistent with the right thing, and they need a lot of encouragement and hope along the way. But if somebody doesn't have a history of being consistent, that's usually the people that it's going to take longer to recover. And that's okay. But it is nice whenever somebody comes in and it's just like, you tell me jump how high, because what I'm teaching is based upon evidence. It's based upon the latest neuroscience. It's not something that I made up. We are specifically doing things that are flooding your nervous system with a sense of safety, which is going to get your body out of the threat responses of fight, flight, freeze, which is what's producing your symptoms. And it's already been proven to work. I've got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of screenshots of anecdotal evidence showing that it works. We've got tons and tons of video interviews. In fact, I've historically been terrible at capturing the amazing results that people have achieved in my program, but there's definitely plenty on YouTube. You've seen them, but it's working. People are getting out of this, and you can get out of this too. But you have to do things that are specific to communicating safety to the brain, body, and nervous system. That's the mistake that everybody's making, is they're doing a bunch of random positive activities, or they're doing a bunch of symptom focused activities, which the symptoms are not the problem. Actually, they're appropriate for the state of your body, and it's not enough to really make a case to your nervous system that you're safe. Okay. And so that's what it takes to recover. And if you wanted to work with me to get out of these symptoms, I'd love to take a look at your situation and see if we could help. We can't help everybody. We turn away people every single week, but we also do take a lot of new people every week. And we'd love to take a look at your situation, hear how the symptoms started, kind of what you tried so far. You can book a call with my team. There is a link below. It's to my 5 shifts masterclass. It is a free masterclass, which means that it's going to add an incredible amount of value to you, regardless of whether you work with us. It's going to show you the 5 shifts that you need to make in order to become symptom free. But that 5th shift in there is co-regulation, which is up to 45% of recovery. And that's honestly a lot of why I'm able to help people so much, is because they know that I've been through the symptoms. They know, okay, Jordan gets it and he's beat it. He helps other people beat it. There's something about that that just really, really gives people that hope as they are doing things to get their body out of this state. And so I really do have an advantage when I help people over somebody that hasn't been through the symptoms, because it matters, right? Like if you're getting advice from somebody about anything that's never been through it, it's harder to take that advice seriously. But whenever you talk to somebody who's been there and done that, and they have an evidence based approach, that is very, very powerful. And that's kind of what we offer. So, with that being said, check out that masterclass, apply to work with us if you'd like to. But if you want to work with somebody else, I don't care. This is about you, okay? I obviously am very confident in what I do, but at the end of the day, this is about you feeling better. This is about you getting your life back on track. If it ends up being me that helps you, that's great. And if it's not, and you get better with somebody else, that is amazing. But if you'd like to check out what we do, you've got the information below. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you so much.